This is a day in the life in La Paz, going snorkeling with whale sharks with local tour guiding company. So we woke up around 8 o'clock, met them around 9 a.m. and tried on our wetsuits and our snorkeling masks, and then headed out on the boat where we went to this little area in the ocean and checked in with the marine radio and let them know we wanted to head over to the whale shark area, and they gave us the thumbs up, and then we went over on our boats, and it was only like a 20-minute boat ride. Then we spent like a couple hours out snorkeling around with them. We'd sort of jump in the water and they were filter feeding pretty much the entire time, and then we'd swim along with them and then jump back in the boat. And we did this like 3 times or so, spent like maybe 2 hours in the water. And these creatures are incredible. They are so beautiful. So these ones come all the way from, well, everywhere, but apparently the tour guide was saying they also visit Cairns in Australia. I think he pointed it out because he could tell we were from New Zealand, or he probably thought we were from Australia. And yeah, they come all the way from there. They migrate from Australia, and they average like 3 miles per hour swimming speed, which is so slow, but they still make it. Okay, here are a few little facts about these creatures. Global distribution. Whale sharks are found in tropical and warm temperate seas around the world. They are known to inhabit both coastal and open ocean areas. These ones were just off the coast of La Paz, and the water was not very deep, but there was heaps of plankton there, so they were just feeding in maybe 3 meters of water. Migratory patterns. Whale sharks exhibit extensive migration patterns, as I mentioned, Australia. Travelling across vast distances, these migrations often coincide with changes in oceanographic conditions and the availability of food. And they are actually threatened, which makes sense if they're migrating, and it coincides with availability of food because the waters are getting warmer and there's more plastic in our oceans, and that really affects creatures like these whale sharks. Reproduction. Despite their massive size, aspects of whale shark reproduction remain a mystery. Breeding and birthing areas are not well documented, and researchers are still working to understand their reproductive behaviour. Conservation concerns. Like I mentioned, whale sharks are listed as vulnerable on the International Union for Conservation of Nature, so IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, and they face threats such as habitat degradation, collision with vessels, and illegal fishing for their fins and meat. Individual identification. So researchers often use unique patterns of spots and stripes on whale sharks' bodies to identify and track individuals. Photo identification and tagging efforts contribute to our understanding of their movements and behaviour. And then the last point here is ecotourism impacts. The increase in whale shark tourism, such as the tour I am on in this video, while economically beneficial for local communities, also raises concerns about the potential impacts on the sharks. Proper guidelines and regulations are essential to ensure sustainable tourism practices that minimises disturbances to these creatures. And our tour guide was telling us quite a lot about this, specifically just that, well, I remember this because it was shocking, that they used to use sticks to like poke the whale sharks, and now there's lots of guidelines around how you can swim with them and act around them, and the boats have to turn off their propellers, and you're not really allowed to chase them. You have to sort of let them come into you and then hop in the water with them. And then I guess some fun facts. They can live to be really old, 70 to 100 to 150 years old, which is crazy. And they have clear growth rings in their vertebrae, so that's how we tell how old they can get. They have tiny, tiny, tiny teeth and a throat the size of a golf ball. They filter feed, as I mentioned, and they filter feed a lot, nearly all day. They are enormous, and they also have sexual dimorphism, so the females are much bigger than the males. Global sightings. So while certain areas such as La Paz are known for seasonal aggregations, whale sharks have been spotted in various locations around the world. They are warm-blooded. This is an adaptation that they have, which is quite cool. So unlike most fish, which are cold-blooded, whale sharks exhibit some levels of regional endothermy. Certain parts of their bodies, like their swimming muscles and eyes, are warmer than the surrounding water. This adaptation might contribute to their ability to dive to deeper, cooler depths. And our tour guide told us that they have their babies at deeper depths. Whale sharks are awesome.